I left America because America is Babylon and America's about to fall. Let's get to it. What's good with y'all, fam? Man, it's your boy, Teddy C. And this right here, this is my journey to being set free. You know. Alright, let's go. Now these are my reasons. First and most important reason why I left, why I moved, man, was honestly, it was just the heal, man. America is very, very detrimental to my health. Everything that's just going on right now in the States, you know what I'm saying? From the pandemic. Yeah, you know what that is. I can't say the word, but yeah, all that. You know, that was probably the biggest thing that made me go ahead and just skeet out. Music and entertainment, man, you know, just always hearing death and police shootings, killing us, you know, that's not cool at all. All this stuff really, you know, it's not good for us mentally. You know, it put a lot of fear in a lot of it. We all have fear in some kind of way, you know, but it's really all about it. Is you gonna let the fear control you, you know? And me, I don't let the fear control me. I just, you know, if I'm in a situation where I feel fear, I just remove myself from that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with fear. You know what I'm saying? So I just move on. Hey, that's what I did, man. I chose to do something, you know, just different, man. You know, something that's gonna be better for me, you know, both mentally and physically. You know, dealing as far as with my health, and also, you know, it's from the food and the medicines that we taking. I decided to, you know, to just want to start rooting myself more in nature, in the world that, you know, that God created, the natural world. It started for me just, I mean, I'm very, very rooted in scriptures. I mean, I was always raised in a church, you know, so you know, in my life. Like I said, it started from, well, it actually started as a child, you know, going back to my childhood when I was a fly young, you know, handsome young man. You did? Yeah. All right. So back then, whenever I was young, I was probably in middle school, man. But I mean, I was at this summer camp, and it was like a little church retreat summer camp for kids. Like it was for like a week, and you know, during the day we'd have fun, and then at the end of every day, we'll have church. So it was the last day, you know, the pastor had called an altar call, right? But before he called the altar call, I heard this voice, man. This is the first time I've heard a voice in my head, like say something and speak, you know. So and the voice said, go up to the altar call. And I was just like, huh? The altar call? Like, nah, man, like he ain't about to do no altar call, you know. I've been here all these days, he never did an altar call. But as soon as I said that, man, the pastor said, hey, we about to do an altar call. So, boom, I had to go, you know. I mean, I couldn't. This is my first time ever going up to an altar call ever in my life. So I was just like, man, I just felt called to go. So I just, you know, I went. And, you know, as the pastor was going around laying his hands on everybody, he came up to me. And as soon as he came up to me, I heard that voice again. The voice said, you're going to be a great teacher when you get older. I ran from it my whole life, you know. I used to always have a bad stuttering problem, you know, as y'all can probably hear a little bit. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I used to stutter a lot, so I really just was kind of scared to, you know, follow that calling, you know. So it's like for so many years in my life, man, I went through it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I dealt with a lot of anxiety, a lot of unhappiness, a lot of depression, you know, PTSD from, you know, I was used to be in the military and stuff, so. You know, life just took its toll on me. You know what I'm saying? Until, you know, one day, I was really down. You know, really down on my luck, on everything. And it was, you know, fresh after this divorce I went through. I said this divorce like this. You know, like I had multiple divorces. Nah, it's just one divorce. Yeah, it was a divorce I went through, and it's probably the lowest point in my life that I ever experienced in my life. And then that's whenever I really just decided to, you know, follow that calling. So, you know, I started getting, you know, deeper into scriptures. I wanted to learn because, of course, you know, I ain't trying to be out here teaching nobody if I don't know what I'm talking about, you know. So I started, you know, reading a lot. And the first thing I learned, honestly, I know a lot of people might not like this, but you know, it's a we've been lied to about a lot of things in scriptures, and the first thing that I learned that we was lied to about is the Messiah and the image that was created. You know, the image of the white Messiah and the name Jesus. That was the first thing I learned. You know what I'm saying? And that's not no knock to anybody who believes in that name or believes in that image. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, the word also says that, you know, the Most High, you know, He exalts His word above all names. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I read that, I say, okay, well, it don't matter what name you call. You know what I'm saying? As long as you understand the truth, as long as you believe in the real truth. You know. So, but with me learning that we was lied to about things, it made me really want to start learning more to see exactly what, you know, what all I've been missing out on. You know. So I asked the Most High. I said, man, God, just please allow me to not lead people wrong like I was led wrong. You know, I didn't want to be another preacher, pastor, or whatever you want to call it, teacher, just out here leading people wrong. You know, so that's when God showed me. He spoke to me again, and he said, man, do what the Messiah did. You know, follow what the Messiah did. So, I mean, I went straight to the New Testament and started reading. And really the thing that I realized that made everybody follow the Messiah was the fact that He was healing people. You know, He was performing all these miracles of healing on the world and on all His followers. So that's really how He built His following. So, you know, me, my whole life, I thought healing was just, you know, you go up and pastor lay hands on you and shalala, you heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, bah. But of course, that didn't work for me when I was going to get healed. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that wasn't, you know, I'm not saying that that's not possible. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I mean, it is still possible, but that's the only healing that I knew of. You know, but it's like right after that, I heard this voice remind me of somebody who I've heard about before in my past. That goes by the name of Dr. Sebi. You know, this man. For one, I had just realized the true color of the Messiah, right? I realized that, you know, he had hair like wool, skin like bronze, you know what I'm saying? So he was a man of color, you know, a darker color man, number one. And then number two, man, you know, as I started doing more research on Dr. Sebi, because I really just felt called to really, you know, research, you know, how he healed. It was like a lot of the things that he taught really came from scriptures. As far as how we eat, the things we put into our body, and one of the most important things, you know, that herbs are for the healing of the nation. So man, I started doing more research on him, you know, and I saw, man, he made the blind see, you know, that sounds like Jesus, right? You know, he made the cripple walk, Jesus, or whatever name you want to call him, Messiah. I call him Yahshua, you feel me? That's the original name. You know, but you know, whatever you want to call them, as long as you understand the truth, hey, that's all that matters. So yeah, he did that. You know, people touched him, and they was healed just by touching him. You know, and all the things that the Messiah did back in scriptures. You know, so I really just started looking at him like, I mean, I'm not saying that he's the return of the Messiah. I'm not saying that, you know, but what I am saying is for you to go learn the research for yourself and you come up with your own conclusion. But because at the end of the day, the Messiah lives within us, you know. So the thing that he did do was he did wake up the Messiah within myself, and I just started applying that knowledge to my life, man. And like I said, man, I dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression my whole life, and it's like, you know, once I changed my diet, man, and I started taking herbal medicine, it's like, man, all of that stuff went away, man. I was taking Xanax and Lexapro and Effexor for like 13, 14 years of my life. And man, after I made these changes in my life, man, I stopped all this stuff cold turkey. I stopped having anxiety attacks. I stopped tripping. I started becoming more happy. You know, I was more at peace. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, level-headed. You know, I started thinking clear. And you know, it changed my life. You know, so as I continue to grow and to learn more, I started realizing, man, that, you know, the natural world that the Most High created, man, you know, that's, you know, those things that God created, it heals us, nature, the sun, what I'm saying, breathing fresh air, away from pollution, and of course, going back to why I left America. America's a very, very polluted place, very, very high with carbon emissions, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a very healthy place to live. Like I said, once I started reading more scriptures, man, I just started seeing, man, it's like, man, God is really trying to push us and for one, to wake us up so we can understand what the truth is, but also number two, God really trying to, bring us back to the natural way of life, the way that we was in the Garden of Eden, because back when we was in the Garden of Eden and we was eating a certain way, you know what I'm saying, and we was living in a natural way, we was healthy, we lived very long lives, you know what I'm saying, so it's like, I really feel like, through the knowledge that I've gained through, just studying scriptures and, doing research, gaining that knowledge and understanding and wisdom, I really feel like, what God is trying to teach us is God is really trying to make us return back to that our promised land. And for me, what I believe that the promised land is, just the rainforest area. This area of the world is definitely where, things are still natural, still pure. You still grow food, and it's still clean, it's still organic, you know what I'm saying? As far as just going back to scriptures, when the Messiah said that with Matthew chapter 24, he said, when you start seeing the signs of the end of this, when I say the end, it's the end of this world that man has created. You start seeing the signs of the end, to head to the hills, and for me, I look at that as just the hills of the rainforest, because this is the cleanest place, in the world, to be honest with you. It's the most purest place in the world. Man hasn't, destroyed it. Of course, you got places, in more natural environment like here in Costa Rica. It's still, man still tamper with a lot of stuff here, as well. But, once you start getting higher up into the elevation, you get further and further away from society, in a sense, and and like I said, it's a cleaner and a purer place to be. So, I mean, that's as I started learning more, I started realizing, man, it's like I gotta not be like the rich man from scriptures, the rich man had asked the Messiah, said, how do I enter into the kingdom of heaven? And the Messiah said, hey, and you gotta sell all that material stuff, get rid of all of that, and come follow me, And the Messiah said, hey, head to the hills. So for me, that's what I feel like the Messiah was really trying to teach us, because of course we know that God's wrath of fire, aka global warming, is going to destroy this man-made world, right? So, and everybody who wants to live in heaven and continue to live and survive on this earth and to repopulate the earth, we gotta, in a sense, do what the Messiah told us to do and head to the hills, man, and start life over out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, live a more natural lifestyle, I hope it ain't like we gotta just start living, like the caveman days, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of what it is, eventually, we all gonna have to really just learn how to survive off of the land. And of course, if we in an area of the world where things grow naturally, we good. Of course, scripture also tell us to not go to where it's dry, and that's kind of like common sense, because the water gives life. So heading to a place where it's always, you're gonna always see water, a rainforest. You ain't got to worry about not having food growing, So that played the biggest part in me making my move out here, to Costa Rica, just to be more, rooted in nature. Because at the end of the day, man, I definitely want to, for one, if I'm here to, for one, heal myself, because being out here is very, very healing. And if I'm out here to heal myself and to continue that journey of healing, but to also teach others, I gotta actually live the stuff that I'm preaching, the stuff that I'm teaching, man, the stuff that God's showing me. So I definitely have to, live what I'm talking, So that's why I moved, man. It was definitely very hard decision to make. Man, for the people who don't know me, I got 2 kids back home, man. And, just being away from them is definitely hard. Of course, I still spend time with them. I still take care of my kids financially. I still, as much as I can, FaceTime them as much as possible. They come visit me. Every summer they come spend time with their dad. So, and it's crazy because back when I was living in the States, man, it's like I was working like 60, 70 hours a week, working 60 to 70 hours a week, at my job, at my business, and I never really had time, to really spend with them. Even with my kids, because my kids, they don't stay with me, but whenever they would come, and spend some time with their pops, I was just working so much, man. So it's like my mom was taking care of them, or I had them in daycare or something like that. And it was really no quality time that I was really spending with them. So me moving out here, initially I was like, man, I'm moving so far away from my kids, and it really like bothered me at first. But once my daughter ended up coming this summer, and she ended up staying for like 3 months with me, man. It was definitely challenging for me because this is my first time ever having to keep my child 24/7 with no help, with no daycare or nobody, actually watching my child. So it was definitely challenging for me, but it was so fun. We had so many memories, man. And I really just sat back and I really just thought to myself, because it was still kind of bothering me, every now and then when I think about it, just being so far away from them. I really had to just sit back and be like, man, Teddy, like you actually spent more quality time with your child now that you living out here than you probably ever spent with them. Ever before, out of all the years combined that they done been alive, So, just when I really, really sat with that and really prayed on it and reflected on it, I was just like, man, I made the best decision, Me and my daughter always talk about, the things that we did while we was out here. She always, every time I call her, FaceTime her, she, Daddy, you remember we did this? Remember we went and rode the scooter? We went to the waterfall, we went to the hot springs, So, it was definitely a lot of good memories that I instilled in them. And of course, at the end of the day, man, with me doing this and living this life, if I truly believe that this is where we need to be, in order to, be saved or to be raptured, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we got to save ourselves, to be honest with you. Because like I said, I feel like the Messiah is within us all. So, once we start seeking that knowledge and that understanding, we'll be able to, awaken that Messiah within us and save ourselves and do the things that we need to do to survive and to be here on this earth, on heaven on earth, the New Jerusalem, the new world, and whatever, the new earth, whatever you want to call it. We got to make those sacrifices and get away from that material world that's really destroying us, man. But at the end of the day, if I really believe this, I gotta do it, and I really need, if I really want my family and my friends and my children and and their mothers and just everybody who I love, the whole world, you know what I'm saying? I love the whole world. But anyway, if I do want these people to follow me, and not necessarily follow me, but just follow the truth, you know what I'm saying? Use common sense. Go to an area of the world where with global warming you got to worry about floods, you know what I'm saying? So of course, the common sense thing is to avoid floods, because of course we're not about to live in fear, you know what I'm saying? God don't give us a spirit of fear, but more of a spirit of understanding, you know what I'm saying, and of a sound mind. So to make good decisions and make common sense decisions, So common sense would tell me to head to higher land. if they gonna have food shortages soon, common sense tell me to grow my own food, in an area where the soil is still clean and still pure, so where you don't have to worry about diseases and stuff in the food and in the soil. If I wanted to avoid certain famines, and I mean not famines, but certain diseases, of course we already know what we got to do to heal ourselves from diseases, and that's eat right, eat either alkaline based diet, alkaline vegan diet, and fast, you know what I'm saying, be rooted in nature, do the things that and dwell in the things that God created, that the Most High created, and if we do these things, then we'll avoid diseases, so that's really the reason why I did all of this. I mean, God showed me and gave me a vision on what to do while I moving out here. And God showed me to start doing like an alkaline retreat, and just try to bring as many people out here as possible. And at the end of the day, try to get as many people on board to we all put our resources together and just invest into some land and start our own healing center, our own healing community, and we just buy the land for cheap out here. You can get a lot of land for real cheap, and you could build for very cheap too. So do that and start our own community out here. And it's crazy, man, because it's like as soon as I did that, as soon as I started offering retreats to my followers, through my social media and stuff like that, my family, my friends, people started coming, and it's like everybody who done came so far, man, it's like all of them want to invest, and they all believe in, so initially I had a lot of fear in doing this because it's only so much money that I had saved up, and of course I didn't have enough money to do what the vision that God gave me. But I just stayed faithful, and continue to just persevere through all the negative thinking, and the devil try to come in, and the negative thoughts come in, man, and you just get to thinking, man, I can't do this alone, and then God just started sending people, man. So God started sending the investors that I needed. God even started sending the people that want to actually move out here, man, and help me and help build this community. And I know it's gonna continue to grow. It just takes time. It's gonna continue to grow, but it's like God providing everything that I need. All the resources that we need to get all of this stuff going and established. And like I said, I mean, I know it's gonna work. We definitely need a place for our people to feel safe. To be able to live in peace and harmony. Just a heaven on earth, man. To where we just depending on God to supply everything that we need. So that's definitely what we're doing. That's the project. I gotta continue to stay strong and continue to go forward, push forward. Like I said, I mean, I'm not a very good person when it comes to being in front of a camera, as y'all can probably see. But I had to, break down all those walls, all that fear that was kind of stopping me from doing this. This is my first video of me really just sitting behind the camera, just running it with y'all. Of course, I'm gonna edit it to the best of my abilities, and get all the stuff that we don't need out. You know what I'm saying? The mess ups and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, I'm definitely proud of myself, and I know I gotta keep going, keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Don't let fear stop me from doing what God's showing me to do. Trust me, it's not easy. Anytime you're making big changes in your life, man, it's gonna be tough. From the food you eating to like doing something like this and leaving the place of where you came from. Leaving everything that you know in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a verse in Mark. I forgot it. I think it's Mark chapter 10. I can't remember exactly, but you know, the Messiah was just pretty much telling, you know, his disciples, man, you know, that, you know, in order to, in a sense, to follow the Messiah, you know, you got to give up everything. You got to give up your family, your children, you know what I'm saying, friends, you know, your house. You got to give up all of that stuff, man. And God gonna provide all of those things times 10, you know, in that new place, in that new world where He sent you. So I really just believe that that's what God really doing right now. I still have faith and believe that, you know, that God gonna send, you know, my family here. You know what I'm saying? My kids, definitely my kids. You know, my family, they mothers, my, you know, my friends. You know, I mean everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if I don't never do it, then who gonna do it? You know, I mean, how can I expect, you know, my family, my friends, and everybody to believe in something which, I mean, it's common sense, you know, at the end of the day. I mean, grow your own food, get to high elevation, you know, live off of the land. Like, it's really common sense on survival, you know, when it comes to surviving. God is about life, it's about surviving. So, you know, this is what we had to do in order to survive what's coming, you know, this wrath of fire, this global warming, whatever we want to call it. This is what we got to do to survive that, and this is what really I believe God is really just teaching us to do. So I don't want to keep rambling on and keep saying the same things over and over and over, but this is the main reason why I left America, you know, why I decided to move to Costa Rica, and to just, you know, just be more rooted in nature, man. So I hope y'all appreciate it. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share it with all of y'all friends and family. You know, I definitely would appreciate it. Turn y'all notifications on, because I mean they shadow banning me, they censoring me because of the stuff that I be putting out on my social media, you know, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and all of that stuff. So you know, make sure y'all visit yazherbs.com. You can find out more information about the healing retreats here in Costa Rica. You can, you know, buy herbs, sea moss, you know, retail, wholesale. You can schedule consultations with me if, you know, you're dealing with any kind of sickness or any kind of disease. You can contact me through there, and I'll just give you the regimen, you know, to follow, the way to fast, the diet that, you know, the diet that you need to transition into, and also provide you with a herbal compound to start taking. You know, y'all can contact me through my email, yazherbs@gmail.com. Y'all can contact me, you know, through there with, you know, if y'all have any more questions, if y'all want more information about, you know, about anything or whatever. So I just want to say thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Y'all hold it down. Yeah, dog. P.O.P. Hold it down. Yeah. All right. I'm gone. Holla.